famous all over the US and even some places in Europe too. They earned their reputation through violence, fearless operations of dangerous magnitude, and above all, their strict code of conduct and principled way of life. Without further ado, let's take a scenic tour and explore the reality of being a Latin Kings member. The Latin Kings have a history of breaking gang stereotypes and emerging as unique in their rules and codes. You may not know, but its initiation wasn't meant for crime and violence. The gang started as a community in the 1940s to help strengthen the Latino identity in America through establishing contacts, providing protection from police and racial violence, as well as offering assistance in housing and job placements. Things took a turn in the mid-60s when the drug influx hit. That's when the Latin Kings took the lead in the business and soared to fame. One of the most prominent things about the Latin Kings is the symbolism behind their colors, emblem, and royal hierarchy. The 5-point crown, which is central in their philosophy, represents obedience, honor, sacrifice, respect, and love. On the other hand, 5 individuals are crowned and are labeled as first crown, second crown, third crown, fourth crown, and fifth crown. Now, you may find that boring, but these 5 crowns play a major role in cementing the very foundation of the community. Whereas the first crown plays a relatively minor role as a thinker for the other crowns, and the fifth crown is seen as the most important. He takes up the role of teacher and advisor for all the crowns and the gang itself. Without the fifth crown, the whole community collapses. Not to mention a manifesto to swear by. Here, the Latin Kings will surprise you because their manifesto revolves around kingism, which consists of prayers, principles, rules, procedures, and even different stages of awareness that should be achieved. The gist of the manifesto instructs members to relinquish criminality and embrace a revolution that will free our people. When gang members swear by this manifesto, it's almost like converting to a religion where they promise to act a certain way. On top of that, books are assigned to members that they must consume, comprehend, and utilize. And no, these books aren't how to handle guns and cook crack, but instead are so sacred that they're kept away from the public eye and shared only in secret. What's more, the royalty-like rituals each member must fulfill. Well, they are called the Latin Kings, after all, and their codes, principles, and rules are very indicative of just how seriously they take this reputation of royalty. So much so that members, when addressing or appearing in the presence of the supreme leader, must kiss his crown. Not just that, but they must also hold a pose of crossed arms in a certain manner. Is that weird enough? Well, there's more. They have a list of special gestures and movements for when a member is in trouble. And we'll admit, this one's kinda cool. Also, similar to monarchy rituals, the Latin Kings celebrate 3 significant days throughout the year. January 6th marks their King's Holy Day, where each Latin king fasts all day to commemorate his or her fallen comrades. The first week of March marks the gang's annual anniversary, while the last week of October is the Week of Blood. Let's look at how they survive prison life. Well, of course Latin Kings do time. It's unavoidable, regardless of how high they keep their standard of conduct. They still do time for the crimes they commit, like drug trafficking. But they decided to make the best out of it and principle themselves for such times too. When life gives you lemons, huh? In December of 2019 alone, 60 Latin King members pled guilty to drug, firearm, and racketeering charges, while 2 stayed on warrant status. Undoubtedly, the leaders had to come up with rules for all the time they'd serve. Members are instructed to keep up a rigorous exercise routine consisting of running 2 miles in 20 minutes, doing 500 push-ups and 50 sit-ups. Moreover, they're banned from engaging in friendly conversation with prison staff. They are asked to instead keep to themselves as much as possible and stay out of trouble and the general spotlight. Furthermore, they are, from an early age, brought up on the principle of never relying on law enforcement agencies, be it for information or assistance. Oh, and they're also prohibited from engaging in police cooperation. Up next, meetings are to be observed and attended in a certain manner. Well, if prison time has to be observed by certain principles, then why not inner circle meetings, right? Firstly, when meetings commence, they begin with a family prayer, as well as each member displaying a special Latin king sign, which they call the Amor de Re sign. If any of the meeting rules are broken, then of course the member who broke them has to suffer punishment. Punishment is delivered in warnings. Each warning increases the punishment severity. The first warning necessitates the wrongdoer to do 50 push-ups or hold the push-up stance for 20 minutes. The second warning is just straight up beating the wrongdoer to a pulp for a minute. Yeah, they're pretty serious about their code of conduct. There is no third warning in the alleged Latin King's rulebook, but we're almost 99% sure if it does, it has something to do with violence and more violence. Members may not skip meetings, but only for justified reasons. Where there is no justified reason, punishment will be delivered. You'll be shocked to know that every meeting has a fee of $7 that members must pay. And if any member arrives late, then a penalty of $1 is charged for every 15 minutes of delay. Talk about instilling values of punctuality, huh? Now, for the off-limit drugs. There are rules about those, too. Now, one would think that a gang that deals with drugs wouldn't be so picky and selective about their drug choices. But the Latin Kings do it their way. First off, crack can be sold but not consumed. Secondly, weed can be smoked, but only during certain hours of the day. Hardcore drugs like PCP, angel dust, glue, LSD, acid, and heroin are all on the list of drugs to neither use nor deal in. Raimundo Sanchez, a former member of the gang, wrote in his memoir how hard it was to walk the straight line without slipping up and indulging in the drugs. He recalls a time when he overdosed on cocaine and almost died, which caused him to receive a violation in the gang. In his own words, he narrated that the leaders didn't care about his drug use, but the fact that he broke their rules. Talk about tough love. Okay, let's discuss initiation. Starting off, we've got the basics that make sure the member is capable of passing certain qualifications regarding character, morals, and specifically a knowledge of Latino cultural heritage. But there are also other qualifications regarding bravery, recklessness, and testing just how far they're potentially willing to go. Insider information from 2013 outlines how Esteban Sotelo, a Latin king, was commanded to shoot a rival gang member during his initiation. But even then, that's not where it ends. There was also this test phase where two chosen existing gang members beat potential members during the initiation process for 3 minutes straight.